After spending over 30 years in software engineering, I've watched AI reshape the way we build software in recent years. In this video, I'll show you how today's AI tools can boost your productivity and help you stay ahead in the industry. We'll use one of these tools to build a fully functional application in the process. I'm John, and welcome to Wagner's Tech Talk. I spent 29 years working as a software engineer for one company. I've actually been in the field even longer, but by far that was my longest tenure anywhere. Well, in April of 2024, my team, along with thousands of others, were affected by restructuring. One major reason for this was the rise of AI in our industry. Now, it may seem ironic that I'm making this video, but if you're a software engineer or work with teams of engineers, you need to be aware of some of the technologies that are available today. Understanding the importance of these technologies will give you an edge in your current employment, allow you to become more productive, and possibly help you navigate the current environment. I do want to add a word of caution. AI is a powerful tool, but before you consider using it for any production system, review every line of code that the AI has generated. There is no replacement for experience. While the tools available are very good, they are only as good as the direction they are given. That said, I'll cover two methodologies for creating systems using AI. The first is Claude.ai. I'll place a link below so you can learn more about it. The one we'll spend the most time with is Cursor. Both have plans that are around $20 a month and go up from there if needed. Let's start with Claude. After visiting Claude.ai and creating your account, you'll be able to follow along. For one of my recent development projects, I started with Claude. It did a really good job of creating useful innate-in workflows that typically work the first time, but when it came to creating more complex systems, I found its context system to be a bit frustrating. A context window is basically the amount of text the AI model can remember at any given time during a conversation. After an extensive session with Claude, once you get near the end of the context window, you'll have to create another chat session to continue. One way to help is by adding all the artifacts that Claude generates to a project. On the left, click Projects and click the New Project button. Then simply give your project a name. I'll enter My App and click the Create button. Your project artifacts will appear in the Project Knowledge section once you add them. This is not done automatically. You'll have to manually add them yourself. You can also click the plus button if you'd like to upload your own documents or artifacts to the project. And if you're going to use Claude for any development, I recommend creating a project and making sure all the artifacts are added to the project. Keep each of your sessions focused on solving a single task or problem. I learned all of this the hard way, and hopefully it'll be helpful to you. Our first step is to create a prompt. This prompt should state the basic architecture of the system, such as using a postgres database, the backend programming language, and the technology for the front end. You'll then want to explain what the application should do, such as what we have here. We'll create a contact manager that provides the ability to create, update, and delete contacts and persist this information to a database. Each contact should have various fields available, such as a name, address, etc. And the UI should have a clean and modern interface. You could go into much more detail than what we have here, add additional fields such as email that I did miss and didn't realize it until I started editing this video, but this is enough to get us started. Then paste your prompt into Claude. Click the Submit button, and the AI will get to work creating all the necessary files for your project. All of the artifacts that Claude created must be downloaded one at a time and added to a project structure that you have to manually create yourself. You can add each of the files to Claude's project knowledge by clicking the Copy button in the upper right and selecting Copy to Project or download the file. As you can see here, we have no project knowledge automatically. You'll need to go back into the chat session, select the file that was created, click the Copy to Project button. Now when we go back to the Project Knowledge section, we have the file it created. Some tools exist to help integrate Claude's suggestions into your development environment, though Claude doesn't natively integrate directly with IDEs such as VS Code like other assistants. At this point, you can copy each of the artifacts to the project knowledge, and Claude will be able to answer questions and make edits across chat sessions. And here we see the artifacts it created. We can download each of them and manually add them to our project solution and run it. In fact, Claude provided a nice diagram that describes the folder structure and where the file should be copied. This is great for fairly simple projects without having an IDE integrated. However, you'll quickly want to have a more integrated solution, and for that we'll turn our attention to Cursor. Cursor, on the other hand, takes a different approach, and one you'll likely appreciate if you're already familiar with the VS Code IDE. After you set up an account at Cursor.com, you'll find an option to download the Cursor IDE. As it's based on VS Code, you can install it on a PC, Mac OS, and ARM64, which means you could run it on a Raspberry Pi. Download the IDE and install it to your operating system of choice. Here I've launched the IDE, created an empty folder called My Apps, and it's awaiting further instruction. On the left is where your project folder and file structure will reside. The middle section is the code editor, and on the far right we have an AI agent chat session. Cursor supports several AI models from OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, and more. To get started, we'll use the same prompt we used earlier with Claude. We'll just copy and paste the prompt into the chat window. You can click the plus sign in the upper right to add additional chat sessions if needed. Once ready, press enter or click the submit button. But before I do, I want to demonstrate that there is nothing in the My App folder, but this is all about to change. I'll click the submit button and Cursor will get to work creating all the folders and files for our solution. While the project is being created, you can load a file even while the agent is making edits and creating new files. It took about 6 minutes for Cursor to create the entire solution. That's pretty impressive. But the real test is, does it work? After the project is completed, Cursor provides a nice overview of the architecture, UI highlights, and a getting started guide for the project you just created. You can browse the files in the solution just like you would with any code project. I could start up the project inside the IDE or from an external terminal, but oftentimes I just ask the agent to start it up for me. That way, if there are any issues, it'll let me know and go ahead and fix them. So I'll simply ask the agent to bring up the system. It will then issue the docker compose up command with the build option to create the container that contains the Postgres database, FastAPI backend, and the React frontend. Now I intentionally had another instance of the Postgres database running to see what would happen, and sure enough the port is already in use. Now I could wait for the agent to respond, or click the skip link here for it to continue. It then saw there was a port conflict and decided to modify the Docker Compose file to use a different port for the database. It modified the file and then issued the Docker Compose up command again. The application is now starting up in the background, and the agent checks to see how it's progressing. It then checks the logs for any errors within the container, and great news, our application is fully deployed and active. It then provides a status of the system and how to access your application by launching a web browser on port 3000. Now I'll open a browser at localhost port 3000, and our application will respond. It shows the Contact Manager as the application title and buttons for adding a contact. If I click Add Contact, I can see all the fields listed that we described in our original prompt. It could use some improved validation for the phone number, but then again, we didn't specify any details. However, it did add validation for the zip code and requires 5 digits. We can then click the Save Contact button and we'll see the contact card created. We can click the button to edit a contact, delete it, add additional contacts, or just go back to the main list view. If we don't like this initial UI, we could go back to the agent and ask for changes to the application. For example, if we didn't like the card view for the contact list, we could tell it to change to a list view. We can also ask it to add a search bar at the top to allow easy searching for a partial name, address, city, or state. I'll then ask it to update the app, speed through all the modifications, and now when we refresh the page, the UI is now a list view, and we can use the search tool to quickly locate a contact. You can also ask it to review the project structure and identify any security or maintainability issues. After reviewing all the files in the solution, it's identified a number of areas that could be improved, such as hard-coded credentials or course configuration issues, and others. I'll go ahead and tell it to fix the high-priority items, and in a matter of a few minutes, it's implemented the changes and deployed it for testing. While all of this capability is quite impressive, it's also a bit scary as well. I have to say, the technology is incredible. It's never been easier or faster to bring ideas to life, and the possibilities are growing every day. It's honestly an exciting time to be in tech. But as amazing as these tools are, I think it's important to recognize they're also changing the landscape for everyone who works in software. While AI can boost our productivity, it also raises questions about the future of what work looks like for engineers and developers and entire teams. I'm personally excited to see where all of this goes, but I also believe we need to stay sharp, keep learning, and have open conversations about how we adapt together. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Are you optimistic, concerned, or maybe a little bit of both? Either way, thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And with that, I look forward to talking with you again very soon.